Hi, welcome back to a lesson about SQL with Docker, PostgreSQL and pgadmin 4. So today I would like to look at a few more SQL queries before we move on to document databases. So I've opened up my folder here with my YAML file in here, and I'm going to write docker compose up like this, and I will run this. In the meantime, I will open up localhost 8080. There we go. And what you can see is that it's admin@example.com and admin as my pgadmin 4 login details. So admin@example and admin as my password. Okay and okay. Then I've got my database here, and let's see at the moment if I have any tables in here. Okay, so these are empty right now. Let's create a few tables. So we're going to query tool, and we're going to say create table. And this is, by the way, not case specific, it's just a standard that you write the syntax uppercase. Create table, students, that's the name of the table. And in here, I want a student ID, and this should be a serial, and this is also my primary key. And then I want the name of the student, so that's varchar, 100 characters max, and I don't want this to be null. There, I run this. I'm going to create one that's courses, and I would say course ID, which is a serial, a primary key. And then I have the course name, which is a varchar, and I don't want it to be null. So I'll run that one. And then I have a table, and I'm going to call this enrollments. And in here, I want an enrollment ID, which is a serial primary key. In here, I want the student ID, and this should be an integer, and I don't want it to be null. Then I want the course ID, which is an integer, and I don't want this to be null. And what we'll do is we're going to use a foreign key. Let me write this out. So for the student underscore ID, we want this to reference to the students table, and then the student ID. And then on delete, I want this to cascade. Let me explain that in a second. And we will do something similar to the other one. There. Only this is going to be course ID. And this, students. And this is courses. And then we have course ID, and no more comma here. So, okay, So the students and the courses tables, they hold the basic data and they have their unique IDs. Then the enrollments table here, where's my mouse here? The enrollments table that I'm creating now connects the two tables, the students and the courses table. And it's going to show which students are enrolled in which courses. The foreign key here establishes relationships between tables, ensuring data integrity. And the onDelete cascade means that if we delete a student, then their enrollments are automatically removed. Yeah? So you see here, we take the student's ID, referencing to there, and onDelete, we cascade it, we throw it away. And then, with the course ID, we also delete it. Let's run this. And let's try it out. So what we do is we first need to create some data. So we say insert into, well, let's see first here. Select everything from students, students, there. So run this. Okay, so we don't need to add the primary key, it will go automatically. So we'll just have the name. So we'll say insert into students, just the name. And then the values, and let's add Michiel, and we will add Hannah. So I'm just going to copy this. So run. So I will just say select everything from students. So you see Michiel and Hannah. And then we'll do our courses. So we'll do the course name. So we'll say into courses. And then we want the course underscore name. And we will do, let's say, maths. And we will say science there. Run this. So then we'll say select everything from science, from courses. So those are in there. And now what we do is we're going to say insert into, actually we'll also do like select everything from, you see I'm a bit sloppy with my capitalizing my syntax there. Enrollments. So here we don't apply this. We have an ID, student ID, and the course ID. So let's play around with that. We can say insert into enrollments, and we have the student underscore ID, and we have the course. Oh. Course underscore ID, close the brackets. And now we have the values, and we know that Michiel is 1, Hannah is 2, math is 1, and science is 2. So we can add Michiel to maths, and we can have Hannah going to science. Let's run this. There. So now if we look at, so if we say select everything from enrollments, go, we'll see the numbers. Not so exciting, but we want to see who's doing what. So what we can do is we can say select, and then we can say students dot name and courses dot and courses underscore name. No, it was courses. Let's have a look quickly. Select everything from students. So that's just called name, and courses, it is course underscore name. So what we can do is we can select students dot name and also courses dot course underscore name. Yeah, this one here. From and from enrollments, and then what I want to join students on enrollments dot student underscore ID, and I also want to, so I want enrollments student ID to be student ID, yeah, the ID for that student, and I want to join courses on enrollments dot course underscore ID equals and this one is actually students dot, yeah, and courses dot course underscore ID. Let's have a look what we just did. So we want to see the students dot name and the course name. So we want to, instead of the ones and the twos, we want to say, okay, who's doing what, and we want to do that from the enrollments. So what we do is we join the students table where the enrollments student ID is the same as the student ID from the students table, and we also want to join from the courses table where the course ID from enrollments is the same as the course ID in the courses table. Let's see if this works. Great. So now we have from the students table the name, from the courses table the course name. We have from the enrollments where we matched it. We joined where this was the 1. It was 1 1 and 2 2. So what we did is 1 was in the students table the name Michiel, so that's why it says Michiel, and from the courses name course table this was number 1 maths, and this was 2 Hannah and 2 science. So that's how this works. Now what happens, because we have you can see here what am I missing? I'm just going to refresh. Thank you. So we have a courses table, enrollments table, and students table. Now let's see, we don't want the students table, and if you don't want something you can drop it. So So we say drop table students there, and I'm going to execute this now. It's going to say I cannot drop the table students because other objects depend on it. Okay, so the constraint enrollment student ID has a foreign key. So because enrollments relies on students, this is how SQL protects your data relationships. If we really want to delete this, we'll have to remove all dependent data first. Or we can use onDelete cascade like we did earlier. Now let's delete Hannah instead. Watch how we can remove this because of the onDelete cascade that we entered earlier on. So here we go, delete from, and she was in the students table, where student ID equals, and we know Hannah was 2. There, run this. Now this worked. Now remember, I'm just going to go back to what I've typed before. So I'm just going to run this one. So you see it's only Michiel left. Now you see there's a lot of repetition here in my coding. It says here students, courses, enrollments, students, enrollments, students, enrollments, courses, courses. So I can clean this up a little bit, and I'm just going to type this underneath. Select, and what I can do is I'm going to say s.name instead of students, and I'm going to say this is student, okay, and instead of courses I'm going to say course like this, as course, from, and then enrollments, I'm going to give that the letter E, and then I'll say join students, and then instead of having to say students, I'm going to call it S on E for enrollments dot student ID equals, and instead of saying students, I'm going to type S student ID, and I'm going to join, and now I can use courses as C on E for enrollment dot course ID equals C for courses dot course ID. So what it does is this is going to give me students.name, because I gave students a letter S instead of writing the whole word of students, and the column is going to be called student, and here the C from courses, so courses.courses underscore name, will just be called course. So the naming convention is going to be different. Enrollments is just E, so I didn't have to write enrollments here or there. So let's take this away. We don't need that one anymore. And we run this. So now you can see student. Yeah, I can see, I can call it also, you know, a capital letter. It doesn't really matter, whatever you like. Actually, you cannot do that. You have to keep it lowercase for the syntax. But I can call it students like this. And you see it's adding the S's. So you can change the name here. So try not to repeat yourself. Make everything simple as you can. Okay, so this is the end of this short lesson. I think you understand that you can basically do everything. You can combine many different tables to figure out the data. Feel free to play around with it. I've given you a link with some more reading, I think from W3 School in the first previous lesson, and just create tables, create databases, try to get data, because these are the kind of SQL queries that we will use in our Node.js as well. So in the next lesson, that's what we'll be doing, and we will also start looking at document databases. See you in the next lesson.